Present.
Member Gallego? Member Hall?
Present.
Member Myers?
Present.
Member Shira?
Present.
Member Zucker?
Here.
Chair Graham?
Present.
Mr. Chair, before we start, I just want to confirm that on YouTube is streaming.
Okay.
You should hear the audio.
Oh, sorry.
Okay, good. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, Mr. Chair,
Yes.
Board Member Hall mentioned that people may think it's 9:30, but we can maybe start. These meetings typically start at 9, so we'll just have to confirm. I know we sent
Do you
out.
want to wait? I mean, I don't want to disappoint people. I'm just worried about the people on the YouTube. Was it noticed at 9:30?
It's
noticed
noticed
at
at 9,
That's what I
and the
thought.
agendas have said 9.
That's what I thought.
And the meetings have said 9.
Yeah, we can start.
Okay.
Yeah. Did they say it's streaming? We're good?
They're good, yes.
They're
Right.
good. Yeah, we're just doing.
Great. Thank you very much. Thank you all for being here today, and we'll start with the first item on our agenda, which is approval of 2 minutes, January 23rd, 2026, and February 6th, 2026. And I'll take them separately just in case anybody has any comments on them. They're different. So I'll start with the approval of the January 2023, 2026 minutes. Move to approve.
I'll move approval.
It's been moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? Hearing none. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Thank you. And next will be the February 6th, 2026 meeting minutes. Hopefully people have a chance to look at those also, and would welcome a motion for approval on that.
I'll move approval.
Move to be approved.
Second.
And a second. Yeah. So we have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Hearing none. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed or abstentions? That carries. Great. Next will be an update on the bylaws and benefits agreements. And are you doing that, or are you doing that?
Mr. Chairman, Manjula and I will take
Okay.
that together. But
Please.
I can kick us off and just say that in the work that we've discussed previously in our board meetings regarding procurement, benefits, insurance, etc., we've worked with the county to structure an IGA to procure temporary insurance benefits, etc., so that this board can get up and going. We'll have longer-term conversations with the state and ADOA about more permanent agreements, but that IGA was sent out to board members for review, so if you have any feedback, please provide to Manjula. The Board of Supervisors is aware, or the chair of the board, their office is aware that IGA is sort of circling, and we're working with their staff to that as well. So we look forward to coming to a subsequent board meeting to pass both that and as well consider the bylaws, which additionally are in your inbox for review. If you have any feedback on those, please again get back with Manjula.
Could you also give an update on the posting for the position?
Oh, yes, absolutely. Thank you, Mr. Chair. Additionally, Manjula and her firm posted the job position for executive director. I think we have about 60 resumes so far that we are having the HR department and Gamage and Burnham call through as we speak to provide up to the committee that we designated, Mr. Chair.
Yeah, just for the chair and the board's benefit, listings, if you know anybody, are posted on LinkedIn and Indeed. It seems to be pretty easily circulated, but if you know anybody you want to send, let me know, and we can send the job description to you. We can actually send the job description to the board if there are people that you want to send the job description out to.
So it's obviously publicly posted, but in general, how would people know it's out there? Is there?
I mean, apparently it seems to have worked.
No, I know we're getting a lot, but
Yeah, we've been getting a lot. I typically from the county's perspective, we just post, and then it gets out, kind of in the general.
organic.
Yeah, organically it seems to have worked. We can post it anywhere you want it. I posted it this week. So, and then wanted to get direction from the board as to how you wanted us to advertise in terms of the fact that it was posted.
As a suggestion, I think to send it to the board, because I know people are asking me, and I'm sure they're asking you too, and when it's coming out. And
Yeah.
so I think we could just forward it to people. That would be.
And how we plan to review or assess, is it a subcommittee, is it the county, the HR, how are we going to go about looking at the candidates and deciding who we want to bring in as a
Yeah,
first rounder?
Mr. Chair, Mr. Hall, we had discussed having a subcommittee eventually after the first review. We decided on the HR department at Cambridge and Burnham taking the first review, categorizing those who qualified and met the requirements, those who didn't. So once we get to that list, we'll give it to the subcommittee.
Yeah, and just, Mr. Chairman, Member Hall, what I've asked our HR department to do is, it's basically kind of 3 piles, people who don't meet the qualifications at all, people that they think meet the qualifications and maybe, and then we'll just transfer yes and maybe to the board, and then if you want to, that way, then the subcommittee can review that and bring it to the full board. I think that was the plan.
So they're not gonna do any scoring, they're just gonna go ahead and
There's
curate.
0 scoring.
Okay.
They're just like, they're only,
Meet qualifications are done.
exactly, like either you have, we have some basic qualifications in terms of degrees and some other things, so that's it. And then I did a quick review and then we'll be forwarded to you.
Senator, I think you were going to say something?
Yes, can the job posting be posted on the stadium website?
Yes, of course. That's a good
And
idea.
then, Mr. Chair, board, if there's interest in some sort of press release from the district saying that they're seeking applications, of course, consider that as well.
Again, personally, I think that's a good idea just for the process.
We'll take care of it.
Maybe just reach out to the Business Journal.
That's a good.
They're doing a sports writer, business and sports guy, he probably would just write an article on that.
That'd be great. Good idea. Any other thoughts on that? We're rocking and rolling, going forward. And you talked about the bylaws a little bit, but do you want to say anything more about that as to where the?
No, just briefly, Mr. Chair, members of the board, Mike and I reviewed the bylaws against the statute. You were sent a red line about a week ago, and I think we resent it out. So I've received a couple of comments, nothing major, more technical in nature in terms of comments in the statute. But I think our plan is that we, please send out to whomever, if you have any other comments, then we'll be discussing them at our next meeting for potential review and adoption at the board's pleasure. Is the plan.
That's the hope. So we'll be meeting in 2 weeks. So if you have comments, please get them to us before then. But you certainly can comment at the meeting also, but it'd be helpful if we have them before.
Were we gonna try to publish them in advance of that meeting so we can vote at that meeting as opposed to?
Yes, they will
Yes.
be, if that's, our plan is to put them out, as an open meeting, from an open meeting standpoint, we can publish them
Okay.
on the Stadium District website. Board Member Cohen, if that works for you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is that?
Yeah, no, that's what my expectation is, right?
Okay.
It is, yes.
Yes.
So we can actually vote on it.
Yes, correct.
Put it in the can of the
Yeah,
warrant.
at the
Yes.
board's pleasure, so I wanted to get direction from the board today if that works for them. Okay, thank you.
And as Manja said, those have been sent out to everybody as red lines, so you should have them in your inbox. If you don't, let us know.
All the power around this room, nobody can coordinate the train. I've been in the maze.
I started on the wrong side. I recovered.
My mama was hitting when I was late to anything. Go ahead.
One till 5. Okay.
Our poor staff, they go through this quite often.
It's very
So if we
traumatizing.
have the power to pick up the stadium and just reload it. That'd be great.
The lady who
They'll
brought
like
me
to
up there
try.
said, the lady who brought me says, welcome to the gang.
That's funny. Great. So the next agenda item is the Chase Field Reimagining Summary and Update Stadium Assessments. We have Dave Demarest, Ethan Milley, Randy Shields, and Robert.
Skip over that name.
Introduce yourself.
And I think Robert's, he's back there, but, yeah, Mr. Chairman, why don't I, say
Sure,
a few words
please.
since
Please.
I've talked about JLL for some time. We hired JLL, boy, it's been nearly a decade now, due to their reputation and references from, and referrals from other teams that have used them in every sport. But I think firm-wise, they're the leader when it comes to sports and entertainment. best at what they do. You'll see that they're extremely objective and professional, buttoned up, but have them introduce themselves. But David would be the start here. David is their international director. He is the vice chair for the company. Been there how long?
20 years.
20 years. Yeah, and I'll let David introduce the rest of his team, and they'll give us a status of where we are assessment-wise, some of the issues with the ballpark, and set up a tour that we're going to take at the end of the agenda.
Great, thank you.
Thank you very much. Again, I'm David Demarest. Nice to see those who I'm acquainted with, and nice to meet everybody who I have not met yet. As Derek said, we run a national sports and entertainment development advisory group. So we help teams negotiate their public-private partnerships for new or existing stadiums in this case. And then we also help advise them on mixed-use development around those venues. Our current clients include, of course, the Diamondbacks, the Atlanta Braves, which is a new 41,000-seat stadium plus 2 million square feet of mixed use. We're working with the Kansas City Royals on a new stadium and mixed use, Denver Broncos, new stadium, and 4 million square feet of mixed use space. Interestingly enough, there's a little bit of a trend back towards reurbanization for these stadiums. So this one, the Royals is going to be an urban solution, the Broncos urban solution. We've had a long journey with the Diamondbacks. We believe that this solution is the best one for them. Ultimately, we looked at a lot of options around the city, and we think we're in a good place right now. We are, these guys over here are part of our project management group, and they're best in class. They have experience all over the country with new stadiums or renovating existing stadiums, and I'm going to hand it over to both Ethan and Randy.
Okay. We've got a quick deck up here. If people want to pivot and look at this. So we'll just go through this kind of quickly. So a little bit about JLL, as David kind of led in. We are a national company. Thought I'd share some kind of GWIS stats on the bottom. You know, we are pretty proud of some of the awards we get as a firm. We're a publicly traded company. And then we do a lot of work, as David said, on new developments and what have you, but we work for both municipalities, we work for teams, but we thought we'd focus on, we put some examples of some renovation projects up here. You know, Wells Fargo Center, Philadelphia, Ford Field, Detroit Lions, Fenway Park, we did the Madison Square Garden renovations. So just as kind of a little bit of depth and breadth of what we do and who we are. Look at that, it works. Really quick, David is the overall leader for our business. I'm the leader of I'll call it the project execution phase. And then Randy Shields here to my left. He is the day-to-day lead for our team on this project. You can see over on the left-hand side, we have a bunch of activities that are going on, and we're going to take a deeper dive in that. There's the managing the whole process. There is the assessments of the facility, and then there's the design going forward for maybe changes to the venue.
So I'm Randy Shields. Again, good morning, and thank you all for the opportunity to give you this update. In terms of what we've got going on now, we've got several parallel processes running. We've mobilized the team. We're doing some early planning, as Ethan and Dave both mentioned. We're talking about assessments across the ballpark, and we've got some early master planning done. This is all being done by a best-in-class team that we've assembled that has experience across ballparks. But more importantly, they've got experience with renovations. They have national exposure, but they also have a strong local presence, all of which is going to be important to us now in this early phase, but as we move forward. This first phase compiles, Ethan, if you go to the next slide, we're going to talk a little bit about what this first phase compiles. We've got infrastructure assessments happening. Those are happening across the ballpark. We're going to show you some slides of some things that you can't see because they occur behind walls, they occur in pipes, they occur in equipment. But it's important for us to assess the entire ballpark, so we're not guessing about what the issues are. We've done a data-driven, engineering-focused assessment of all the ballpark to really be able to prioritize things. In parallel with that, the design team is looking at the ballpark in terms of opportunities. We're talking to people about what the needs are, both on the facility side, but also on the fan experience side. And we're expecting at the end of June of this year to deliver an initial findings report that overlays findings from the assessments with the work that the design team's doing.
So, just looking backwards a little bit, just to maybe set the table, we thought it'd be good just to share with you all the projects. It's not like nothing has been going on at Chase Field. You can see here there's about $36 million worth of projects that have either been completed or in progress. They're all completed except for the last one, which is current for this year. I think the biggie people have heard about the rope wire. That's the replacement of the mechanism that allows us to open and close the roof much quicker. So water projects that have been going on. Some of them have been addressing some of the early issues that we found. But I think back, the team looked back and since 1995, they've put about $250 million into Chase Field in projects like this. So for the current project, as Randy said, we're going through this assessment.
If you could, just running back, you said they put in $250 million to date. Is that what you're counting?
Since 1995, yes. As Randy said, we're going through this assessment period, looking at building systems, structure. So think of roof, building structure, air conditioning systems, water systems, that type of thing. And then obviously this is an operating ballpark, so we're planning to do the majority of work during the off seasons. We think this project, given that you can't just jump in and do work across the whole ballpark while you're playing baseball games, we think there's at least 5 years worth of projects that'll happen as we go through those phases and work in the off seasons.
So we're going to go from here and we're going to tour the ballpark. And before we do that, we wanted to share with you some photos, again, of things that you'll see examples of, but we want to underscore that some of these you can't see, but it's important to understand that they exist, and they exist in the context of what we're learning via the assessment. Currently, in examples of two examples that we wanted to highlight, a recent pipe burst in the player parking lot and concrete issues stadium-wide are the reasons why we want to go ahead and conduct this engineering-focused comprehensive assessment of the ballpark, because we don't want to be reactive to these issues. We want to develop a comprehensive plan. We want to strategize about how to sequence it out. And we want to make sure that we're the best stewards of the resources that are going to be required to execute this. There's a couple ongoing projects. The first is the outfield scoreboard. Just to put this in context, and I was thinking about this morning, so the first iPhone was released in 2007, so the ribbon board that was just replaced was 2 years prior to the first iPhone coming out. All of which is to say this is a venue that's been serving the community of Phoenix and Maricopa County for almost 30 years, and it's aged like we all have, and it needs work. This is some examples of how that's starting to show itself in a fan-facing way. We're also seeing examples of behind the scenes where the infrastructure, the nuts and bolts of the ballpark need care and attention as well. We started a concrete assessment, and these kind of issues, just for context, are similar issues that are being seen in venues of this age. The Los Angeles Dodgers, their stadium is undergoing similar work around concrete issues. We're looking at the roof as well. I mentioned that some of this we can't see. We can, if anyone has a desire to get to the roof, we can make it happen. But in general, it's not only the operable roof, which is the one that we all think about when we think about Chase Field, but it's also all the flat roofs. There's over 12 flat roofs, and they've all reached the end of their useful life. In spite of the ongoing maintenance that has happened, it's just that they're worn out and need to be replaced. We want to look at them, we want to understand what the needs are, and we want to go and take care of them in the right way. You can see some examples of exposed roofing areas where the membrane is peeled back, tears in the roofing. All of those types of issues need to be addressed. We're also looking at the HVAC equipment, the electrical or the piping. Those require some more technical evaluations because It's not easy to see in pipes and understand if they're clogged, if they're gonna fail, so we've engaged these engineering firms to help us with that. And then Ethan, if you wanna talk about some
Sure.
other representative projects.
As Ray said, we're going to go on a tour, and you're going to see a bunch of the spaces in Chase Field. But we thought it'd be good for, if you don't get around to other professional sports venues, okay, what is the marketplace, if you will, just to look at, okay, what does Chase Field have versus this? So just real quick, this is in Toronto, Rogers Center, the Blue Jays. This is Progressive Field in Cleveland. You can see some of the improvements they've done there, some pretty unique things. Dodger Stadium, Ray mentioned that there's projects going on there. A lot of changes have been implemented at Dodger Field, just for example. And then I think the last one is Truist Park. Club renovations, simple stuff like changing. You'll see in the top center that four top half round. That was something that was added late. Super popular with fans and what have you. So
Yeah, point of fact, Truist Park opened 7 years ago, 8 years ago, and they're already
they're already doing renovations.
going through a renovation.
I think that's what we have, just to bring you up to speed on what we've done and where we are.
Do you think this physical plant was benefited by our geography and temperatures and weather? And do you think that if we were in a different location, these things would have escalated sooner, that they would have showed up in 10 years or 15 years? Because to me, it feels like we some of those things appear to be fairly significant.
Right.
Structural issues which happen over a period of time, but it seems like we were fortunate, even with the $250 million that was spent, to forestall some of this by our.
And because like if you were in a rainier environment, some of those roof issues would have been untenable, I guess the word, for sure. If you had, some of the other weather characteristics, for sure, some of these issues would have been exacerbated by that.
If this building was new today, would you expect over the same period of time to have spend $250 million from today forward?
I would say at least.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, Ethan, Randy, I would add for our board, you saw the aspirational shots, what some of the other ballparks have done, and it's frustrating to us that we have to do so much infrastructure-wise that I don't think most ballparks, I agree, the Dodgers have concrete issues, but that's also been around since 1962. So that's understandable, but most of them, like Toronto, just went right into those upgrades. For us as a board, we've got to get to that point eventually, because we need to increase revenues here so that we can recapture more, so that we can bring more people here, we can help all the businesses around us. And we as owners, the ownership group has never put a penny in their pocket. So the revenues go directly into the field product or into the stadium. That's going to continue. And so the more that we can generate by improving this ballpark, and you'll see it, I'll get into it when I talk about the tour, but when we go around and look at some of these ballparks, you're going to see that Chase Field is far from state of the art. And it's hard to believe, because we all have been coming here forever and we think the ballpark looks great, it's functional. Comparatively, it's just not. And as I said, the word frustrating, that we have to address all these infrastructure needs, and I understand, and JLL is telling me, ease off the gas, we can't get to those other elements yet. We have to prioritize this to make sure that it's safe, and of course, I agree with that, but the HVAC and the roof and the concrete, those are big ticket items that we as a board are gonna have to, we're gonna have to do. And we haven't even gotten to the elements that can improve the overall revenues.
What is the current thought on capacity for attendance?
We don't want to, there was talk for a long time, John, about reducing capacity.
Right.
I don't think that makes sense. I think there's going to be natural reduction in some of the things that have been proposed by the architects. As we're looking at improving the upper concourse to help, because we want to make sure we take care of every level, not just premium for the fans that can afford it. We've talked about opening up the upper deck and vestibule, big opening, by doing that, we're gonna naturally take some seats away. We're gonna talk about the bullpen on our tour, the visiting bullpen. It's in the worst possible location. I mean, whoever designed it just didn't think it through. If we relocate that, we're gonna lose some seats. So there's gonna be a little bit naturally, a little attrition, but there are times where we've said we should reduce capacity, yet on opening day when you look around and it's full, you think, thank goodness we didn't, right? Or a concert and it's packed and you think, okay, good that we did playoffs. So we'll keep this close as we can to where it is, but there's gonna be natural drop off. I don't know how many that's gonna be. It could be a couple thousand at the end of the day. Yeah.
Remind me what the capacity is.
It's close to 50. It's 49 and change.
Yeah, and what's average?
Well, Dodgers, we're the second most. Dodgers are 56,000. Actually, we're third. Yankees are about that as well. But most ballparks today, when they're being built new, 35 to 38,000. So we're well above. But again, there's advantages to that. It's not so great if you're playing, I won't say a team, because if you're playing a team that's less favorable in our market, and it's a Tuesday night, you look up and you see this monstrosity that's empty. That's not great, but for the most part, I think on TV it always looks good, always looks full because the
What's the average attendance, given those numbers?
Our average? We're typically close to 25,000. We're hoping it's anywhere from 22 to 25,000 per year. Yeah. So you've got a majority of games where you're looking at, 35,000 fans here, it looks full. And you could have, if you're 45,000, it looks like there's not a seat open. So there's times where it looks great. But again, like any ballpark, there's times where, it depends on the opponent and the day of the week.
There are those years.
Slightly above the average, right?
Yeah, we're slightly above the middle, yeah. Especially the last couple of years, with the product we've had.
Good question. Matt, I don't know if Derek knew it. What are some of the advancements in ballparks in terms of sustainability, renewable, kind of cutting edge things in the environment?
Great question. We already know we've got opportunities. I think that the operable roof is the best thought there, or best example, which is you've got almost 350,000 square feet of surface area across that roof. And we talked about the iPhone and technology advancements. We've seen similar advancements across roofing membranes. And not only will it talk about performance of the membrane keeping water out, which is what we want to solve, but it also can assist with energy performance, which is going to help with other things. So it'll help with the HVAC system, all of which has aged, and all of which is, underscores, as Derek said, what we have seen in these initial findings are widespread issues across the ballpark that we're looking at, but we're trying to do it in the context of how can we introduce new technologies, new materials to take it forward for the next 30 years.
Yeah, and Ed, we know it's important to the city and to the mayor, and we've taken steps the last couple of years. When we replaced the grass, the natural grass, with the synthetic grass, as we call it, it has saved gallons of water. How much?
Over 100 million.
Yeah, 100 million. Wow. And the fact that we don't have to keep the roof open for direct sunlight on the grass anymore, where the temperature of the concrete, which is part of the problem with our concrete today, we used to have it open for direct sunlight. Our concrete was reaching, Mike, 130 degrees?
The seats themselves,
yeah,
157.
Right. So we now are doing things, reusable cups. There's plenty of initiatives we're doing just operationally. So we told them it's a priority of ours to make sure we can do as much as possible sustainability-wise when it comes to the renovation. So great.
And you don't want to lose sight of, if you put a bunch of sustainability people in the room, they're going to say the best thing you can do is let's renovate and reuse what we have, which is what we're doing. So we can't lose sight of that. That is the single largest thing we can do.
Yeah, it does become more expensive to go sustainability.
And can I ask, just from a city perspective too, are there, my friend here had a good question for me, are there city capacity issues that you're dealing with? Like, is the sewage capacity correct for you, and the water capacity and that sort of thing?
I think it's fine. I think our only issue still remains, the chill system, which I think is more of our problem, not the chill plant. I think the plant works fine, and Andrew, you know this. It's now that 30 years later, our pipes are corroded, we have, rust, we have holes, and it's just, it's not working as it used to. Mike, who runs our facilities, our vice president, does a wonderful job. He's figured out ways to cool the building as best he can until we do replace it. And it might take 2 off seasons to replace the HVAC. Again, we're waiting for that assessment. I think it showed end of April.
End of April for the initial assessment, end of June for the comprehensive look at it.
Yeah. But I think otherwise.
Is the chilled system itself still a sound concept?
It is.
It's just the infrastructure that delivers it needs 30 years later to be.
Yeah, if we were building a new ballpark, the system that's here may well be what we would put into a new ballpark.
Okay.
Obviously, it would be brand new. But,
Yeah.
that's the thing.
I think, yeah, Ed, I think it's sufficient. I think the wear and tear over the years has been the problem.
Yeah.
So kind of a broad question, with the convention entertainment district work that's going on, as far as more efficient ways to like load concerts and whatnot, as well as potentially even some convention stuff that could happen in the park, is that, I'm sure that's all being contemplated.
Absolutely. Yeah, and as we schedule this out, we're gonna figure out how we can still have the off-season events, the convention events, without being disrupted. And, concerts, whatever, the rodeo that we have, we've got to figure out when and how to have cranes in here, when to have them out. Going to be certain sections of the ballpark during the season even that we're going to have no fans in. But we'll get through it. And we see it somewhat, I talked to the mayor about that, and she loved the concept, but almost at the airport where you've got the coming soon boards up, right, with photos of what's taking place behind. And so we'll get by. We'll be able to still have our off-season events.
And you'll see the bullpens. That's one of the things I was talking about earlier. That's the loading area. You're going to see where it was placed and how inefficient it is.
It's awful.
Yeah, you'll see that on the tour.
Visiting teams can't even win. I mean,
That's a problem. Hold on.
Yeah. There's a part of me that likes it. But there's a big part of MLB that doesn't like it.
Do they need a bullpen? Mr. Chair, perhaps we can work with the team in JLL as those reports come back on HVAC and other systems. We can schedule those into our board meetings to get updates.
Absolutely. And one other for future, I think at a minimum, the officers of this board, we've had some really good design meetings with HKS and Canopy. And after the first couple, I've said we should have some board representation in those meetings so that you can participate, you can hear and ask questions of the design team and give input. I think that would be valuable.
That's great.
Yeah.
Other questions? Taylor?
I think we were going to go from here to a tour, and Mike, for the people going on the tour, what's the best way to get there?
Well, yeah, we'll get started in a minute. I know
There's
we
one
still
more
have
thing
good
I
items.
want, yeah, it's actually just updates on
On the tour?
No, on the,
with the
upcoming
events.
Chase Field.
Yeah, so hopefully you've gotten the invitations, but on Monday, this upcoming Monday here at Chase Field, gates open at 9:30, a red carpet walk-in, and then at 10:15, the program starts, but we're going to be celebrating $100 million in community giving, which has been a remarkable milestone. So all of you are invited to attend that if you can. And then on the 21st of March, we have our annual Evening on the Diamond. And that's our big fundraiser. I think it's the best, I'm a little biased, but I think it's the best fundraiser in the Valley or in the state of Arizona. But it's great. We have all of our players and our coaches. We've donated a table for this board. So if you all have interest and have a +1, let us know. But we'll end up with 800 to 1,000 people there that night. It's a great event. We have a community award that we always give out. We're actually going to give up to, I think it's $100 million that we're going to celebrate in giving that night. But we'll give out $1 million to fund some of the nonprofits that will be in attendance that night. And then we have a concert afterwards. It's a country act this year, Chase Flores. And anybody that's been a charity event before.
It's a good event. Yeah,
good event. So let us know. Those are 2 upcoming events. And then want me to go into the next agenda item on the tour. You've heard enough of what we're going to do. I would just ask again, get a mental picture of what you're seeing because you haven't been to the newer ballparks yet or those that have been renovated. And then when those of you that travel with us are able to, you'll be able to do the comparison. I wish it was vice versa. We'd already seen some of the other ballparks and then you come here and go, oh. So just make sure you keep an open mind, and when we go to the others, it'll make sense to you. We're gonna move along rather quickly, and when we get to certain destinations or locations, we'll stop and talk. And at times when we've done tours with our architects, we've sort of gotten in side conversation and stopped and looked, and it could take forever. We want to get everybody out of here, hopefully by 11, if that makes sense. And we've also got some carts to drive us around. Mike was nice enough to get, I think we can back up to like 20, right, that we can.
We have seats for 28.
Okay, 28, perfect. So you tell us where we're gonna start, and then we'll turn it back over to the chairman to
The
bring us
Jeff's
to
gonna lead the
adjournment.
first group into these 2 elevators right here.
Okay,
And
and we'll go down to the
apartments.
farmhouse. Okay.
So just, we'll go ahead and do that, but do we just leave our stuff here?
Oh, absolutely, yeah, we'll finish up back here.
And Mr. Chair, I just think we should note for the public that may be watching that this is a tour for informational purposes. The board won't be deliberating or taking any action while we're off screen.
And you hear music playing right now, there is a rehearsal for University of Phoenix graduation going on. So you'll see some of the boards in action that were just installed.
And while we're still out here, let me just do the discussion of future agenda items, if anybody has any, just so we don't have to reconvene when we come back. Does anybody have something they would like to add?
Just a quick question. You talked before about touring other ballparks. Have you kind of identified time periods that would be best to do that?
Good question. Yeah, we were thinking March, April, so we're there. I think we're just about there. We want to get out of any bad weather if we go to, if we go to Toronto or Cleveland, which we want to see those ballparks. We thought definitely Toronto, because they're very similar to ours. It's a roof, similar age, and they've done a lot of really nice renovations. We definitely have to go there. Cleveland's in the process. We thought maybe Milwaukee. San Diego would be a good one. It's close. They've got a very nice ballpark, but you'll see some of the elements that we think we should incorporate. People watch games differently now. We have 50,000 seats all facing home plate, and not all fans like that as a way to take in a game. I do. But they like standing room only. They like flat ground. They like bars and different destinations, and so we'll see a lot of that when we do travel. But I mean, Randy, have we talked about any times to go? Because they'll want to plan in advance, obviously.
Yeah, we're going to be prepared over the next week or so to kind of formalize that schedule, but as you said, it's the end of March, early April. Want to avoid the weather issues, which may mean that the first trip isn't to Toronto, but it's to San Diego or something like that. And while Derek mentioned, the 3, possibly 4 venue tours, would encourage everyone to see at least one, because it'll give you that context for certain.
Yeah.
So, Mr. Chair, I just expect that to be a future agenda as soon as we can to kind of start
Good.
doing those block off. I'll just add from my experience at the city when we renovated the arena, 2 of the most important things we ever did was 1, we toured Edmonton, Sacramento, and Las Vegas arenas, and 2 is we took people repeatedly on tours of the existing arena. It is eye-opening because we think about the arena in terms of either when we went there and it was exciting and brand new, or we watch it on TV and we think we know it, but you don't know it until you do what we're doing today. So
that's right.
The more of these we can do for people to inform them, the better off we will.
Yep, and our one of our design teams, Canopy, talked about Janet Marie Smith, who's legendary. She built Camden Yards, she redid Fenway, she's done Dodger Stadium. We're opening up at the Dodgers, boo, and even those of you on YouTube. And they're going to take us around and show us Dodger Stadium, some of the renovations they did. It'll be a reminder of what we can't afford to do, but still, it'll be nice to see what changes they've made, and we'll report back to you what some of those are, and we can take some photos and share them with the board.
So a protocol issue, are these public meetings that need to be noticed or no?
So, Mr. Chair, I think let Zach and I talk. I think it kind of depends on how many people want to attend. They need to be noticed. They're not really public meetings, I don't think, but let us talk, and we need to confirm it.
Thank you.
Oh, the trips and tours?
Yeah. Anything else? Look for a motion for adjournment before we go tour.
So moved.
It's been moved. Second?
Second.
Move a second. Any discussion? Hearing none. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Let's go tour.